last lineage of his giant lineage. He was a remnant of the giants. Now, look at this. Behold, his bedstead was a bedstead of iron. Is it not in Rabath of the children of Ammon? 9 cubits was the length thereof, and 4 cubits the breadth thereof, after the cubit of a man. Now, I wanted to know, why are you talking about the bed? Why would the word talk about the bed? And I just see giants, and I was like, wow. So it began to click. The reason why the word is bringing up the size of the bed is so that we that study the word would search it out and see this jewel. Right here it used giants. So I got out my tape measure. I thought I put it over there. I thought I had it over there. Oh, here it is. I got my tape measure out, and I have what is called a double K. All right, and I'm going to show you here. Hold on. All right, that's me and my wife's bed there. All right, this is a double king. All right, now this double king, so you can get the comparison. I'm just going to show you something here. I'm going to use one of my pillows. See this pillow? That's one of the pillows right there, so you can get a comparison. Alright? Now I'm going to take this pillow and I'm going to hold it up next to this armoire. Hopefully it'll stay up. I'm trying to get it now. Well, can't get it to stay up. But look, this pillow as I hold it is about, where's the doorknob? There you go. It's from the floor and it's about a couple inches from the doorknob. Okay? Now, when I hold this next to me, this pillow, let me put this back, that pillow comes to my waist. Alright? That pillow comes to my waist. So it's about, I'm 6'1". When I lay down in my bed, my feet, and this is the head of my bed, right here, my feet come to right here. Let me see, about this far. Okay? Now, what's odd to me is that the word talks about his bedstead being so many or so cubits, so many cubits long, so many cubits wide. Matter of fact, it says that it was 9 cubits. My bed is only 6.5 feet long and 6 feet wide. My bed, and that's a double king, okay? Now, what got me was his bed was 13 feet long. 13 feet. So that's like my bed plus another bed and about 4 or 5 inches. And it was 6 feet wide. So as long as my bed, that's the width of his. And his bed was 13 feet. To get a better comparison, you would think from the ground up to a basketball rack is 10 feet. Now add another 3 feet to that, which would probably be the top of the backboard of a basketball rack. So his bed was from the floor up to the top of the backboard of a basketball. Why? So you can have a comparison. The bed are always comparable to the size of a person. So he must have been, as the word clearly states here, a giant. But he was from the sons of Anak, which is, check the lineage, goes back to, this is gonna blow your mind, goes back to Cain. I know, that's a trip. Now, so, how can I show, or how can we prove that in the Bible, Satan has seed in the earth? Before we get there, I want to show you some other things about a giant. We're going to go to First Samuel. Okay, bear with me here. 1 Samuel, chapter 17. Let's look at some of the traits or the genetic mutation of a giant. All right. Chapter 17, we'll start at verse 3. And it says, "And the Philistines stood on a mountain on the one side, and Israel stood on a mountain on the other side. And there was a valley between them. And there went out a champion out of the camp of the Philistines, named Goliath of Gath, whose height was 6 cubits and a span." 6 cubits. Now we just know 6 cubits. He was over 9 feet tall. All right. And his helmet, and he had a helmet of brass upon his head, and he was armed with a coat of mail. You know, he had this thing that, you know, like protected him, you know, for fighting, right? And the weight of the coat was 5,000 shekels of brass. So I was like, why is it talking about the weight? Why is it talking about the weight of his, you know, his armor? Because if you are going to war and you have to fight, you got to be able to move. So anybody that knows anything about, you know, military, tactical, you wear stuff that protects you, but you don't wear stuff that's burdensome on you, because you got to be able to move, so you can't have anything too heavy. His coat was 5,000 shekels. 5,000 shekels equals 125 pounds. That was his coat. That's what he wore. So you put 125 pounds on a man going to fight that's 6 foot tall, like me, I'm gonna be burnt out. So he had on a coat or a protective that was 125 pounds. So it must have been able for him to be able to carry it and not to be, you know, cumbersome on him. So he must have had a bigger and more dense muscle mass, which would explain why he was a giant. Also, let me see here. It talks about his spear and the staff and his spear, a weaver's beam, and the spear here that weighed 600 shekels of iron. His spear was over 100 pounds that he had to throw. Man, come on. He's got to be a big dude. We'll leave it right there for now. Just trying to show some stuff. Let's look at the genetic mutations of these giants, because they mix with the seed of women. All right? 2 Samuel. I think it's 20. Yeah, it's 20. 2 Samuel verse 20. 2 Samuel 2:20. Is that it? Oops. I messed up. But anyway, in the Word of God, you can look it up. One of the traits of them is that they have 6 fingers and 6 toes. Yes, I said it. 6 fingers and 6 toes. Now, you could do your own research, and you can find out that there are a lot of people who are born with 6 fingers and 6 toes. This is what you call a genetic mutation, right? But it was way back then. All right, so you're saying, well, why don't we see them today? Because they have mingled themselves so much with the seed of men that it's hard actually to see who they are. Some of them may not be 9 feet, 6 feet, but they are. Every now and then people pop up with this excessive height. And I think it's called giantism or something like that. All right. So now you're saying, okay, Brother Darrell, you done said all that. Now, what's your point? Where you getting at? Well, what I'm trying to get at is, as I said in the beginning, that Satan has seed in the earth. So if Satan has seed in the earth, where did it all begin? It began in Genesis. When Eve had twins. It says, let's go to Genesis. It says when Eve conceived, she had twins, all right? The Bible talks about, and Adam, when Eve bare a child, and she bare forth a child, and his name was Cain. And